بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما. Amma ba'd, my brothers and sisters, a group of companions were sitting with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they said, Abu Huraira is narrating this hadith. They asked, Ya Rasulullah, which people are the most noble people? Which people are the most noble people? This hadith is recorded in Bukhari. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, the one who is most Allah conscious, the one who has got taqwa is the most noble, or those people who have got taqwa are the most noble amongst us. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we're not asking you about that. That's not the question. Okay. Then Rasul said, the most noble amongst you, or most noble amongst people, is Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, son of Yaqub, son of Ishaq, son of Ibrahim alayhim salam. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we're not asking you about that either. That's not the question. Rasul said, are you asking me about Arab people? They said, yes, we're asking you about the Arabs. Rasul then said, the most noble amongst you, he began by saying, Allah conscious people, remember? And then he said, the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu salam. Why did he say those two? And I'll give you the last one at the end, keep you in suspense. Why did he say most noble amongst you is the one who is most Allah conscious? Because Allah says that in the Quran, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most honorable amongst you, most noble amongst you is the one who is Allah conscious. My brothers and sisters, Allah consciousness, taqwa, is not measurable, is not physically present amongst us, is not something that you can see, is not tangible, is not judgeable. When a companion asked, Ya Rasulullah, when Rasulullah was talking about taqwa, he pointed to his heart and he said, At-taqwa ha-huna, at-taqwa ha-huna, at-taqwa ha-huna, pointing to his heart 3 times. Why did he not say and point to prayers or something else and say that's where taqwa is? He didn't say that. He said taqwa lies in your heart. Why did he say that? Because my brothers and sisters, taqwa is a state of mind. It's how you train your mind. Allah has made our mind, our brain, wallahi, an amazing machine. Our brain is an amazing machine. It contains billions of neurons and contains so many cells that die and regenerate themselves. They die and they regenerate, die and regenerate. And this brain that Allah has given you and I is like no other machine on the face of this earth. If you were thinking about a computer and the processing power of a machine such as a computer, you can multiply our brain millions of times. Our brain will always be superior. This brain becomes habituated to things that you do. It's called neural pathways. If you pray 5 daily prayers, you will have your brain wired to praying 5 daily prayers. It becomes your habit. Some mornings my alarm clock doesn't work for Fajr. This morning it didn't work. Usually I go to my masjid. The Fajr prayer is 5:45, 5:45. My eyes automatically opened at 5:45. My alarm didn't go off. I looked at my clock, I said, Ya astaghfirullah, I missed Jama'ah. I cannot make it to the masjid. So I immediately messaged the Imam saying, Yallah, please carry on, I won't be able to make it today, because I have a dars that I give at Fajr. It's called habituating yourself. Sometimes when I'm away from my usual habits of going to my local masjid, For example, I'm abroad and I'm in my hotel room sleeping. I know sunrise at 7 o'clock. I'll say, okay, I'll sleep a little bit extra, 6:30. But I can't help, my eyes would open exactly at London time. Because you habituate yourself to doing something. Your brain becomes used to it. Now, habituating your mind to Allah consciousness means remembering and being aware of Allah's presence 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, all the time in your life, in my life, in our lives. Habituating your mind, accepting this reality that Allah sees, hears, and is aware of everything. In fact, He is aware of things that I don't even know. He is as-sami'un basir, the one who sees and hears. And He is al-khabir, the one who knows everything. Even khabirun bima ta'malun, He knows things that you don't know. Knowing this intellectually, accepting this in your mind, and behaving like this is called taqwa. So if Allah is watching me, how will I behave? If Allah is knowing everything that I do, how should I behave? If Allah is seeing everything that I do, how should I behave? So Rasulullah said to the companions, the most noble amongst you is the one who is most Allah conscious. My brothers and sisters, you can't judge Allah consciousness of your brother or your sister next to you. You can't say, okay, he's more muttaqi than I am, she is more muttaqi than I am. You can't say that. How do you know? Outer appearances could be deceiving. In our community, we have this weird idea. I'll give you a good example. A couple of weeks ago, I was traveling from Bradford to come to the masjid where I lead Jum'ah in London, and I took the first train. I was rushing. I came to the masjid. I went to the pulpit and I led Jum'ah. After Jum'ah, a sister came to ask me something, and I said, yeah, sure. So in the masjid foyer, she came and she said to me, Imam, I'm very upset today. I said, why? She goes to me, you led Jum'ah wearing jeans. I said, what did you say? She goes, you're wearing jeans and you led Jum'ah. I said, what's the problem with that? She goes to me, you shouldn't be wearing jeans and Jum'ah, and leading Jum'ah. I said, what should I wear? She goes, you should wear Imam's dress. I said, what's Imam's dress? She goes, the jalabiya, the abaya of the men, the overgarment that we have. I said, where are you from? She goes, I'm from Turkish background. I said, how do your imams dress? She goes, they wear jeans and shirts normally. When they come to the masjid, as they come to the pulpit, they just put it on and lead the prayer. Prayer is over, they put it back and go out. I said, what does this mean to you? She goes, this means he's more pious. My brothers and sisters, that's an illusion. If I can wear it, no problem. If I can't wear it, it's not an issue. My taqwa isn't limited to my clothes. My taqwa isn't demonstrated by my hat. My taqwa isn't demonstrated by my hijab. My taqwa is not demonstrated by my beard. It isn't demonstrated by these. My taqwa is demonstrated by my behavior in the secrets of all eyes. When the darkness befalls, when nobody sees, how do I behave knowing Allah is watching me? Allah knows what I'm doing. Allah is hearing what I'm saying. How do I behave knowing Allah is present in my life? That's taqwa for me. That's taqwa for us. And that's the measure of taqwa at your private time between you and Allah. That's what Rasulullah said, at-taqwa hahuna, pointing to his heart. How does your heart feel when you do something wrong? If you have got taqwa, your heart will say you've done something wrong. Say, astaghfirullah. When you do something wrong, your inner self will whisper into you saying you've done something wrong. Change that. Don't carry on doing this wrong. Because that's against what Allah has taught you. And Allah knows how are you going to face Allah in this state. My brothers and sisters, month of taqwa is coming soon. When I say month of taqwa is coming soon, I don't mean Allah is going to deliver to you and I a fully packaged parcel of taqwa in every household, like box of dates that we get. MashaAllah, I've got my taqwa parcel from Allah now, and that's it. You won't get any taqwa parcels delivered through your doors. The imams leading Taraweeh will not give you extra taqwa. My brothers and sisters, taqwa is gained through repetitive training, 30 days of goodness, 30 days of virtue, 30 days of living a sinless life, 30 days of adhkar, remembrance of Allah. 30 days of reading more Quran. 30 days of sadaqat every day. 30 days of smiling at your neighbors. 30 days of eating less. 30 days of fighting shaitan's whispers. 30 days of keeping your mouth clean from lying, from cheating, from backbiting, slandering and gossiping. 30 days of not listening to any rubbish with your ears. 30 days of keeping your eyes clean so you don't see any evil with your eyes. 30 days of repetitive training is called gaining taqwa. That's how you retrain your brain to become muttaqi. Did you understand the point? It's a simple exercise. 30 days, repeat it. 30 days, repeat it. Give charity every day. Say something good every day. Don't backbite, slander, gossip. Don't do it. Just make sure you don't do it a single day in the 30 days of Ramadan. For 30 days, eat little. For 30 days, smile at people. For 30 days, ask Allah to forgive you and forgive everybody else. If you do it for 30 days, modern science teaches us you need to repeat a habit, a good habit, to replace a bad habit. You need to repeat the good habit for 21 days. If you can quit smoking for 21 days, it's most likely that you will not need to smoke again, according to modern psychology. And Allah is merciful. Instead of giving us extra, He said 30 days, O my servant. 21 days is not always possible for everybody. I'll give you 30 days. It's a mercy from Allah that He has given you and I a chance to become more muttaqi in this month of Ramadan. So I want you to become more dutiful to Allah in the month of Ramadan. We all want to be more dutiful to Allah in the month of Ramadan, of course. But please get away from the ritualized activities which makes no sense in your mind. You just do because somebody else is doing. If it makes no sense in your mind, you cannot connect intellectually, emotionally, you will not find any benefit from it. Taqwa is about conscious behavior. Taqwa is about conscious competence to a level where you are unconsciously competent. You don't need to think anymore because it's become part of your habit, it's become part of your adat, your day-to-day habit. So Rasulullah said to the companions, the most noble amongst you is the one who is Allah conscious. Now my brothers and sisters, who is Allah conscious here, I can't judge. But we should all compete to become close to Allah. وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, and compete with one another. وَسَارِعُوا, speedily compete with one another. إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, towards the forgiveness of your Lord. Allahu Akbar. Towards gaining forgiveness from your Lord is Allah Azza wa Jalla's order in the Quran. وَسَارِعُوا, race, compete. وَتَعَاوَنُوا, good, do good, and cooperate with one another in doing good. For 30 days of goodness. Muslims can't be bad after 30 days of amazing training. So Rasulullah said to the companions, the best amongst you is the one who's got most taqwa. The companions were not satisfied with this answer because they had something else in their mind. So they asked Rasulullah about saying, Ya Rasulullah, that was not the question. So Rasulullah said, the best amongst you, the most noble amongst you is Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Why did he say Yusuf? Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam story is beautiful. Amongst all the stories of the Arab societies at the time of Rasulullah, Surah Yusuf was the first one to be revealed in its entirety in Mecca. The Quraysh were being taunted by others, and they came and said, Muhammad, some of them said, Ya Rasulullah, please tell us a story. Everyone is telling a story. We want a story of our own. Rasulullah said, I don't know a story, but I'll wait for Allah to tell us a story. Very soon, Surah Yusuf is revealed. Subhanallah al-Azim. For those of you who have read Surah Yusuf, you would know how beautiful this surah is. And from beginning to the end, it's like reading an amazing, I don't want to call it a novel because it's not a novel, it's true. It's like reading a real story of a man and his journey. A little boy who falls into the hands of his jealous brothers who conspire to kill him, throw him in the depth of the water well because they were worried about the love of their father. And in the depth of the well, he waits for somebody to rescue him. Somebody takes him, sells him from freedom to being sold as a captive and becomes a slave. And in that slave state, he's taken advantage of, or somebody attempts to take advantage of. He is then jailed, and in jail he stays and languishes for a long time until he's exonerated. And from that state of exoneration, he's elevated to the state of being the minister of finance of Egypt. And then he rules Egypt and surrounding countries, only to have his brothers reunite with him, his father reunite with him, and for him to ask Allah to forgive them, and he forgives them. What a story of Yusuf. And Allah's Rasul ﷺ wants you to know that the most noble people are the ones who have the same trait and characteristics as Yusuf ﷺ. It's not an aspiration only, my brothers and sisters. It should be a goal set down for you, that I shall go through difficulties in life. No matter what difficulties I go through in life, I shall try and emulate Yusuf ﷺ. Look at Rasul ﷺ. When he came to Mecca, at Fath al-Makkah, when he came to open the Meccan doors after so many years in exile, 9 years in exile in Medina, he comes to open the door of Mecca. Fath al-Makkah is called. And all the Quraysh knew today is over. The Arabs of Mecca knew it's over. Muslims are stronger than ever before. They've come to take over. There is no point fighting anymore. They lay down their arms and they say, oh Muhammad, we surrender today. We don't want to fight with you. And Rasulullah said to them, and how do you expect me to treat you today? All the horrible things that you've done to me, 13 years in Medina, in Mecca, for 9 years in Medina, all the wars, all the treacherous things you've done, you've made me lose my family home. My family has died in that process. I've lost my wife because of your torture. I'm talking about the boycott that they had. I've lost my companions who you have killed. All of those horrible things that we've experienced. What do you think I will do to you today? He's the victor today. He is the ruler. He is the supremely powerful person. He says, what do you think I'll do? Subhanallah al-Azim. The Meccans were clever people. They turned around and said, oh Muhammad, we expect you to do the same thing as Yusuf did to his brothers. Clever people, aren't they? We expect you to do the same thing as Yusuf did to his brothers. What did Yusuf do to his brothers? He said to them, I forgive you today. I forgive you today. Not only do I forgive you today, I ask Allah to forgive you too. Rasulullah forgave them. And he said, I ask Allah to forgive you, even Hind, Abu Sufyan's wife, who was the orchestrator of killing his uncle, and Wahshi, who killed. He forgave them both, and he said, I forgive you, and I've asked Allah to forgive you. But please don't come in front of me, because if I see you, my heart pains with the memory of how brutally you killed my uncle in Uhud. So my brothers and sisters, the best amongst you are those who can emulate Yusuf. So in this month of Ramadan, please study the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Learn the stories of how to cope with life's ups and downs, how to struggle and thrive, not just survive, how to struggle and excel, not just live, how to struggle and become powerful, not a doormat. Learn and study the life of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. And Rasulullah links it. Yusuf, son of Yaqub, son of Ishaq, son of Ibrahim. He links them because the great prophet until Ibrahim alayhi is mentioned in the same saying of Rasulullah. My brothers and sisters, the reason why I chose this particular hadith today is to remind you and I that Ramadan is just around the corner. I just don't want to tell you a usual talk about what to do in the month of Ramadan. You know what to do in the month of Ramadan. The only thing I'm telling you is change your thinking about Ramadan. This Ramadan, I'm going to be mentally completely changed person. If you mentally change, if you intellectually change, everything else will follow. But you do everything else and mentally you're still stuck, nothing happens. Nothing changes. May Allah forgive us. May Allah enable all of us to follow the footsteps of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his advice. And may Allah make us the best of people. And most importantly, may Allah enable us to prepare for the month of Ramadan and take the best of Ramadan. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. My brothers and sisters, I'm going to ask you help now. The third point I've forgotten already. If anybody knows this hadith, remind me of the third thing he said when they asked him who was the most noble in the hadith that I've just narrated. I've completely forgotten. It is written in my phone, but my phone is over there. Huh? If you remember, remind me. There are 2 points he made. One is about taqwa and the other one is about Yusuf. And there was a third point as to what taqwa is when they asked him about Arab people. My brothers and sisters, the bottom line to his message, I can't remember word to word, the bottom line of his message is that you can be of any nationality, of any race. You can be of anything you like. You cannot be the best of people unless you are beneficial to people. You cannot be best of people unless you can serve people. You cannot be best of people, whether you are Arab or non-Arab, it doesn't matter. You can't be best of people if you're aggressors, if you are occupiers, if you're a legitimate regime, if you are an army that is killing left, right, and center. You can't be the most noble people. Nobleness is not judged by your aggression or your power. It's done by your love and your service to humanity. I want to highlight to you the awful plight of Muslims around the world, in Britain, and most importantly, what's happening in Gaza. In the last few days, you must have seen television reports about Islamophobia in our country, especially with the Conservative Party. One of the MPs, Lee Anderson, made a comment that Mayor Sadiq Khan has opened up the doors to all the Islamists to control London. In fact, before him, Suella Braverman, the most toxic Home Secretary we've ever had, said the same thing, but she said the whole of Britain is now being controlled by the Islamists. My brothers and sisters, when they use the word Islamist, it's a way of deriding, mocking, and insulting you and I, because we practice Islam. The word Islamist is being used and coined by people who don't want Muslims to be practicing, who don't want Muslims to embrace Islam fully. If you look at the dictionary of Islamist, it says a Muslim who accepts Islam completely and wants to see Islam implemented in every aspect of their life. Which Muslim isn't like that, my brothers and sisters? Such a word, Islamist, when they use, that's an Islamophobic word, that's a racist word, and we should challenge them when they use it. Never allow them to get away with using such a word. Never allow them to get away with using such a word. Secondly, Islamophobia is rampant in the Conservative Party. It's institutional, it's systemic, and they're not interested in doing anything. Lee Anderson just didn't even apologize. He was suspended from the party, not because he felt guilty of what he has said. He said, well, I made a muddle of what I wanted to say. But many of the MPs turned around and said, he said the right thing. We believe in what he's saying. 58% of people surveyed in the Conservative Party felt that Islam and the Muslims are not compatible to Britain. In fact, Muslims are a threat to the British way of life. And we are we're a substantial number in this country today, with nearly 5 million people in this country. How can the governing party of our country get away with such Islamophobic rant? Well, they've done it before. Boris Johnson did many. The mayoral candidate Zach Goldsmith did many. Many other MPs have made even more deriding and derogatory remarks about Islam. Our problem is, my brothers and sisters, we as a community are not powerful enough to counter them. You say the same thing about the Jewish community. If somebody said that Britain is being controlled by the Jewish community, what do you think would have been? That person would have been sacked, would have been forced to resign from being an MP. Why double standard? Why double standard? Why have two standards? My brothers and sisters, we are Muslims and we are proud to be Muslims. Britain is our home and we are proud to be in Britain and British. We are proud that this is our home. And we are proud that people of this country are our people and nobody will come between us. And we'll do everything possible for the well-being of this country. So I've got a message for the right-wing fascist, right-wing racist, and bigoted people who don't like Islam and the Muslims. I've got one message only. You're nothing but ignorant. Go and pick up a book on Islam and read. And I put a challenge to them. Pick up one book of Islam. Read Quran once in your life. I challenge you. If you read the Quran with open mind and open heart, I know you will embrace Islam. Because many have done this before. Instead of being an ignorant buffoon, making rhetoric and making stupid comments from the side, read the Quran. Read the Quran. Read the Quran. You may just like the Quran. They're too scared, just in case they like the Quran. My brothers and sisters, this is irrational beyond belief. But it's also our fault. We are not engaging with the non-Muslims sufficiently. We're not able to present Islam sufficiently. We become too angry, too irrational. We try and impose our madhahib and our differences. We try and impose our narrow-minded interpretations. We try and become too pure, purer than pure. We want to make everyone follow the exact replica of what we believe to be true. But we don't give them the basic bottom line. When a man came to Rasulullah and they said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me about Islam. Rasulullah told him very basic 4 things. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, I will do them and I will do nothing else. I will add nothing and I will take nothing away. Rasulullah said, that man will go to Jannah. Rasulullah gave people hope. Basic bottom line of introduction to Islam, not the wholesale imposition of the entire book of Quran. Take time, let people have some space to breathe. My brothers and sisters, I'll finish here. I'll finish here with one message to the Muslims. Stop complaining about others making foul remarks about Islam. Stop complaining about Islamophobia. Do more than that. Go and invite them to Islam. Give them a book on Islam. Give them Quran. Invite them to the masajid. Let's go out there and invite people to this deen of Allah. The way of life that could transform the world. A way of life that could free the world from tyranny. And the way of life that will free the world from seeing wars, death and destruction. That's the way. My brothers and sisters, this invitation is open to all. I pray to Allah to forgive us all. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive us all for our failures and our mistakes. I ask Allah to open up our hearts. I ask Allah to make us best of Muslims. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us the strength to be able to go and invite others to His deen, Ya Rab. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, make us wise people, Ya Allah. Make us kind people, Ya Allah. Make us compassionate people, Ya Allah. Make us proper da'iyah, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, guide the people of this country to your deen, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, we don't despise the Islamophobes. We make dua that you give them hidayah, Ya Allah. We don't despise those who dislike Islam. We ask you to guide them to your deen, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, free Al-Aqsa from occupation, Ya Allah. Free Gaza from the troubles and the turmoils and the massacres, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, punish those who are perpetrating, aiding and abetting the genocide in Gaza, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, with your might and with your strength. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, remove the tyrants from this world, Ya Allah, and replace them with good rulers, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin, unite us, Ya Allah. Unite us, Ya Allah. Unite us, Ya Allah, and make us all be ready and prepared for the month of Ramadan, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, enable us to prepare for Ramadan, Ya Allah. Enable us to prepare for Ramadan, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة. Please stand up and make the line straight.